And welcome back to the next episode. Today is Monday, March 26th, and this is month number 10, I do believe. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it's month 10. But it's the first day of this month, and today I had a lecture and a lab in critical listening. And yes, actually today, month 10, day number 1. So critical listening, pretty cool. I'm over in FS3F this month for the lectures and the labs actually, and my instructor's name is, I think it's Brian, and he's really cool. Apparently he hasn't done lectures in a long time or a couple months, so he claims to be a bit rusty, but he's really funny and he's really nice and everything, and he explained everything really well. Um, and I've got to say, it was the first lecture that I've had in a long time where I was like fully attentive the whole time. I was engaged. I was thinking. The topic was interesting. So I think the last time I had that, was probably maybe music theory or recording consoles or something a while back. But I was really into it today, and it was awesome. And I downloaded all the stuff yesterday off of Propeller, and so we can discuss and kind of look at what we talked about. So let's see, lecture PDF, lecture number 1. Well, actually, let's go over the intro stuff. And basically, at this point in the program, it's like all the basic stuff you pretty much know, like attendance, how the schedule works, stuff like that. The instructor information, like office hours, the extension number, where the office is, what materials we need to download off of Propeller, what we can and can't do inside the lecture and lab. I think in this class it says, missing 6 or more hours for this class is failing. We went over security badges again, and then there's classroom etiquette, notes. Actually, in this month, we don't really need to take notes. I mean, we do, but not really because all the stuff is on Propeller. But I'm still kind of taking notes with the iPad because we're not allowed to have our computers out. And pretty much everything, grading-wise, is 15% except for GPS, which is always 10%. But pretty much like the lab analysis, the midterm, the lab exam, the final lab exam, and the final project. So there's 6 things, all made up of 15% of the grade. So that's pretty simplistic. There's actually going to be 2 quizzes. A short sound analysis quiz will be given at the end of lectures 2 and 6. So the next time, I think on Wednesday after class or whatever, or the second half of class, we're going to have a quiz basically on tone identification, so I need to practice. Let's see, and this will be will be credited as extra points toward your midterm and final exam grades respectively. So I guess the quizzes are pretty much extra stuff because that's the year training. Textbook. I ended up when we went on break today. I went over to the distribution center, and this here is the textbook for the class. It's a nice, actual like hardcover book, which is really nice. It's Critical Listening Skills for Audio Professionals by F. Alton Everest, and it came with a CD, but I couldn't figure out how to open the damn thing, so I just tore the whole thing out of the book and got the CD out and put it in and copied everything to iTunes, so I don't even need to worry about the CD anymore. But this is the textbook, and we'll talk more about this here in a minute. But yeah, it's basically the basic stuff. And then as far as the actual lecture, we talked about the physics of waves and sound. So we went a little more in depth with it than we did in actual physics class. We looked at a lot of actual moving diagrams and stuff like that, and we actually listened. So the cool thing about this class is that at random points throughout the lecture, it'll be a listen up thing or something like that, where basically he'll have sound effects, and this classroom has 5.1 surround sound. I mean, it can get pretty loud and pretty awesome sounding in that classroom. But No, we have the 5.1 surround, and he'll play random sound clips of just different objects or whatever, and we'll have to guess what it is. And then he'll be like, okay, so why did you guess that it was that, or how did we know that it was a lawnmower or an airplane or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that, where we'll guess what it is, and then we'll have to say why we thought it was that or why we knew it was that. So it's pretty cool. We talked about simple harmonic motion. Um, Periodic motion, the equilibrium, oscillation slash simple harmonic oscillator, linear restoring force, amplitude, frequency, bunch of cool stuff, or at least I think it's interesting. I kind of like physics, I'm not going to lie. And like I said, there was a bunch of pictures and videos off of YouTube that we looked at today. We looked closely at oscillators, and there's actually one in Logic that we use as a plugin, but we'll get to that when we talk about the lab. So yeah, it was basically about the physics between, or the physics of sound waves and how it all works. And we kind of talked about the ears a little bit, and elasticity, a bunch of different things. It was really cool. We're not going to be getting too into like the decimal or decibel volume whatevers. Like we're only going to be dealing with like I think dBSPLs this month is all we're going to be working with. But yeah, we talked about a lot of crazy stuff. I'm still looking through the things now. So many slides. But the thing is like he moved through the slides pretty quick, so it was all right. We looked at shock waves and like breaking the sound barrier and stuff. Really cool stuff. I know I keep saying it, but it is. It's cool stuff. And so the homework for this lecture was lessons 1 and 2 and units 1 and 2 from the textbook here. And now the way this textbook works, we'll go ahead and talk about the homework. The way it works, came with the CD, right? Well, the CD is exactly what you need, because on this side of the paper it has text, and the text is exactly what the author reads to you. So basically the CD is all the stuff on the left column being read to you, and the stuff on the right column is the examples and what it looks like. So when you actually see the graphs here, you actually get to listen to it on the CD. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. And then there's like some ones where you kind of have to guess and fill in your answer. So the homework was the first 2 lessons from here. So it was, let's see, and they were about, it took maybe a half hour for the first 2 lessons, because they were about 15 minutes each. So about that much of the book. And then the second half of the book are where the units are. So it goes, the first half of the book is like lessons 1 through 10, and the second half of the book is like units 1 through 10 or something. So units 1, I did unit 1. I still need to do unit number 2 before I go to bed tonight. But yeah, unit 1 didn't have any fill-in answers. It was just to follow along. And units 1 and 2 in the back of the book here are both like 20 minutes long, so about an hour's worth of homework. And I mean, it's easy, it's just following along, but it's still pretty tough stuff. And apparently the homework is what the quizzes are on, you know, I gotta do it. So lesson 1 was about identifying pitch. You did like identifying and knowing the difference between 1K and 500 hertz and 100 hertz, etc. Basically like developing your relative pitch, essentially. And lesson number 2 was the same thing, but it had to do with volume. So basically what it was is like the CD would play an audio clip at a reference level, and then you would have to, it would drop or heighten, and you would have to guess how many decibels it dropped or went up. So it was alright. Now for the lab, we have lab packs, and labs are only 2 hours long. I am in group number 4, so my labs are at 7 p.m. and they go till about 9 o'clock. But today I got done pretty early. I was out of there by like 8:15, because it's seriously just reading directions and following along and just looking at how this stuff works. Really not hard at all, at least today wasn't. and basically we copied over a bunch of plugins and equipped a bunch of plugins into Logic, and we're using a different we're using a test tone thing. It's not the one built in for Logic, so not the Logic oscillator. And we're also using a plugin that's an oscilloscope, believe it or not. It's an O-scope, but it's a plugin, so it's pretty cool. And then in other news, Mina got me a gift, and I'm actually pretty happy about it, because it was a total surprise for me. I had no idea. She told me she got something for me, and it was just for no reason. But she got me this book. I don't know if you've checked out the previous months or if you've looked at all of my videos, but I checked out this book a long time ago from the library, and I kind of got into it, but I never got to really look at it because I only had it for like 2 weeks and I was pretty busy. And actually, I mentioned it to Miss Carla, and she's the one that runs the student success seminars, the lateral thinking, and it ended up becoming a whole seminar. So the lateral thinking, I suggested it to her, and she made it into a seminar. It's pretty cool. And at some point, once I get good at this stuff, I'm gonna go back to one of the seminars of lateral thinking and really help her out in the direction that I think it should go. Because she's got a really good seminar going, but from the very first one that I went to, could have been better. Trial and everything. I'm sure she's got it a lot better now. But I'm gonna be practicing this stuff. So Mina baby, I love you. If you ever watch this, thank you for the book. It is fantastic. So if you haven't checked it out, Lateral Thinking, it's really cool stuff. Edward de Bono is the guy's name. And last thing before I wrap today's video up, I got. Oh, let me see. Why is my computer acting goofy? Sometimes I think it's OS Lion running on my computer. I'm supposed to be able to swipe over to the next full screen app, but sometimes it doesn't do it. But I got some questions on the last video by, who was it? Hang on, let me check. I'm digging up the comment now, because I'd like to actually answer these in the videos instead of just writing out boring old comments. Alright, so ASSILEM ASLM 405, she asks, I think it's a she or he, you asked, you know who you are, let's see, oh, where's the question? Here we go. Okay, sorry that took me so long. Are you afraid of getting a job because Full Sail is a non-for-profit school? Like maybe getting turned down, like a job turning me down because I went to Full Sail instead of a better-known school. And that is definitely a good concern. Like, you know, Full Sail, it's a pretty popular school, but it's not the most well-known school. And I think the thing is, like, the thing in our industry, the entertainment industry, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and then after that, it's about who knows you. So really, I mean, if you can get in with the right people, it doesn't really matter where you went to school, if at all. But I mean, no, it's like as long as you do work here, like serious work, you know, you should be able to go anywhere you want. I mean, mind you, you'll have to work your way up the ladder no matter where you go to school. I mean, there's no place you're just going to have an instant job. But I've got to say, this Full Sail definitely does do a good job of setting you up for the most open possibilities. Like they open the most doors for you to check out. Now, it's up to you to figure out what you want to specialize in and then do your own research and stuff. That's the only thing I don't like about Full Sail is that there's no way to really specialize in something. You have to become, like, either do the research yourself and become a specialist on your own, or you just become good at everything overall. So I hope that answered your question. I also got your other comment on, like, the very first video, and I'm glad you're digging the videos. So, yeah. Sorry if you're a he or a she or whichever. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, we're all friends here. Find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/fairasopus. Friend me, you guys. Talk to me. I'm cool. I promise I don't bite. I am busy a lot of the time. But, you know, for the most part, I'll get back to you guys. I'd like to get to know you. And then the last thing, the very last PS kind of thing, I also got 2 books for Pro Tools, and we'll look at these tomorrow after the first audio workstations class. So for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video. Been talking for way too long. Take it easy, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I am out.